Fraud detection and dealing with fraud is one of the most challenging jobs. Public agencies process millions of claims every year, and a growing number turn out to be fraudulent. The challenge isn't in volume, it's the complexity. Investigators need tools that can cut through noise, surface patterns, and still leave the human in control of the decision. And today we are going to look at how AI can help investigators detect fraud faster, make sense of new trends, and handle more sophisticated attacks. With AI working alongside them, not instead of them. And joining me today are two experts from Egen, Prasanna Venkatesh, Senior Engineering Manager, and Kartik Kumar, Senior Data Engineer at Egen. Prasanna, Kartik, it's great to have you both on the show.
Good to be here, Swapnil.
Thanks for having us, Swapnil.
Let's try to understand what's going on in this space. When an investigator is looking at fraud today, what does the process actually look like? And despite all these tools, expertise, and technologies, why is it still so challenging?
Fraudsters are constantly innovating. And they're using the technologies as they emerge and trying to launch new schemes and find weaknesses. So, for as state agencies, investigator had to really stay one step ahead and look at various things that can potentially point to the fraudulent claims. For example, when an unemployment insurance claim comes in, uh, from investigators look at multiple things. One is they make sure that the claimant is real. He or she is the authorized user, and they check their profile information like the email and phone number and other things, and then they may check at the employer and the wage information, and employer, they want to make sure that it is real. The company really exists, and the wage information is like whatever the claimant is suggesting is matches to the system of records. So those are the things that they check. They may look at external databases like the SSN database, etc. And then if something is not adding up, they create what is known as program integrity issue for launching a deep dive investigation. So these are the things that they typically do to identify the fraudulent claims. And as you can see, these are like mostly human-driven checks for now. That is where what makes it the most challenging at this point of time.
Excellent. Kartik, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, I just want to say that, fraud detection today for investigators is a lot of manual work, right? They have to go into individual claims or submissions and validate the information there manually and do this one at a time, right? And oftentimes there's a lot of pressure of time and limited resources. And so that's the challenge with fraud today, which is investigators are looking at one submission of a claim at a time and they're trying to spot fraud in one, whereas frauds, when it happens, it actually happens at a scale. So it happens across multiple claims. It's not just typically one that claim is attacked. So I think that is the challenge today is one, there's a lot of manual work in reviewing. Two, the effort in combining multiple fraud claims is very it's not there. The investigators don't have the tools to kind of connect these suspicious claims all together and find that suspicious activity.
Thank you for answering that. No, we all use AI. Some think that it's kind of a silver bullet, magic pixel dust, but that's not the case. In reality, it's more of an assistant, a tool we can lean on. Can you walk us through where AI is most useful in day to day investigations, portals, dashboards, visualization, and how does that fit into an investigator's workflow?
Yeah, looking at the historic data, claims data, right, we can really identify patterns, sometimes the fraudulent patterns, right? And using that analysis, what we have devised is a way to assign a fraud score to a claim. And what this allows investigator to do is focus on what could be the most suspicious claims while passing the legitimate or processing the legitimate claims more quickly through the system. And this allows for like investigator to prioritize. That is one of the things. And the other things, like as you mentioned, like it's not only AI but also the analytics, the dashboards that comes in. We can build dashboards that can identify patterns, new and emerging pattern fraud patterns, and we can provide tools to the investigator which kind of gives the 360-degree view of the claims and the claimants, right? So these things, and also one of the things that we recently introduced is a document intelligence tool. So this helps in identifying the authenticity of the document, whether it is a like a DL copy, driver license copy, or a social security card, anything like that. How authentic is that, or is it a Gen AI edited fake documents? Those kind we are able to help the investigator identify those through this solution. And apart from that, we also can provide, like, for the organization, like leadership dashboards which provides overall metrics, the business metrics, like the pass through backlogs of the claims and resolution rate and those kind of things. So these are the few things that where AI and analytics can definitely help.
Karthik, do you want to add anything to that?
Just like on where AI is helping investigators, AI is just like a tool for adjudicators. AI is not going to overtake an investigator's job. AI is just going to help investigators get those tools and give them the insights that they right now take a lot of time to process manually. So these are tools just helping adjudicators speed up their analysis, because fraudsters are also speeding up their applications and attacking the system with AI. And investigators also need to kind of be prepared to kind of use these AI tools so that they can also speed up their analysis and process these claims.
Thank you for that. And the fact is that fraudsters are among the most innovative folks out there. They continue to evolve. Their schemes continue to evolve. They keep up with new trends and they keep looking for the weakest links. How do these tools help surface new patterns or emerging fraud types? And how can agencies spot them before they actually scale?
So fraud detection isn't just about spotting a single suspicious claim, right? It's about recognizing unusual patterns across hundreds and thousands of claims. That's where our tools come into the picture. We've built some analysis that helps investigators look at dashboards and see if claims have similar informations with other claims that have been submitted. And then we also look at if there's been a surge of claims with certain similar information in recent weeks. So essentially, if this week there's a surge in claims from the same IP address or same email that is not historically known to the system, then we kind of showcase that as suspicious activity to the investigators. And that's how we're saying we're now able to capture a group of suspicious claims rather than just helping investigators find one single suspicious claim. And these are just some of the tools. The other tools are really like building that adjudicator assistant. So what we're doing is we're helping investigators manage these flag configurations and see how changes in these configurations can detect or result in a different sensitivity of the analysis that we provide, right? Um, these are just some of the tools that we've built. Uh, our goal is to kind of grow and build the adjudicator assistant tool and work closely with investigators so that they are always going to be the human in the loop, but they have these tools to help speed up their analysis and capture fraud.
Yeah, to add to what Karthik mentioned, apart from identifying the patterns and trends, if we give the investigators the ability to kind of drill down, look into the details of individual claims and how it is related to the other fraudulent claims, those kind of the linkages that if they are able to analyze using the tools that we provide, that proves to be a very powerful combination and gives investigator the right kind of information that they need to make a decision on whether it is fraudulent or not. And that's what exactly these tools provided at this time.
You rightly said. And like any other tool or weapon, AI is being used on both sides. Fraudsters are weaponizing it to build more sophisticated attacks. At the same time, investigators are using it to defend. From your perspective, how is this arms race playing out in the fraud space?
Yeah, I think it's exactly like you said. It's like a fraud arms race, right? Fraudsters now use AI to generate synthetic IDs, generate forged fake documents, and even submit claims at a scale. So that makes their fraud both faster and harder to spot. Um, but the investigators are still aren't just standing still. Like they're also using AI to level the playing field. AI kind of is helping investigators by prioritizing their caseloads so that the riskiest claims are kind of addressed first. And then investigators also using AI to spot unusual activity that humans may not notice in time, right? And cross-checking information across different systems more quickly, that's something that AI is also enabling investigators. So with all of this, investigators are still like the core, they're the human in the loop. They're the feedback loop for this AI to help capture the fraud, but these tools are kind of helping them prioritize, spot unusual activity, and cross-check information across different systems.
While the users or the human in the loop is the central here to make the final decisions, there are definitely ways where we can provide tools and also provide kind of a 360-degree view of everything around, right? Like basically what can enable investigators to quickly identify or a fraudulent claim or quickly see the relevant information around it, so is what makes them more productive. And this is exactly how we can help in terms of providing the technological solutions.
Excellent, thank you. And now let's talk about the solution part. Let's talk about what Egen is doing in this space. You have introduced document intelligence, you talked about it. What is it and how does it support an investigator's workflow? And where do you see it's heading?
Yeah, so document review is like one of the most painful parts of investigators' day-to-day jobs, right? They have to manually go in and review IDs, W-2s, utility bills, and not just review them individually, but also at the same time try to cross-verify them manually, right? And that kind of takes a lot of time. And if there's like forged or altered submissions, it's harder to spot as well across these documents. So what we do is we help uh, analyze these documents by automatically cross-checking the names and different values across these documents that we'd expect to match, right? We also can detect signs of forgery, such as mismatched layouts or suspicious edits. Oftentimes, we've seen driver's licenses can have a fake image or a image that has been superimposed on that template, right? And then there's also cases where we just validate if the document aligns with the expected formats of official records. So again, like if a driver's license, you'd expect a California driver's license to have a bear in there. So if certain things are missing, we kind of just validate that and we can kind of standardize those across documents. That's what our document intelligence solution does. It's again a tool that does this document processing for the investigators, It does the same analysis that an investigator will do when they look at a document manually, but it'll kind of give them that report already, so that when they log in, they just kind of see that report and make a decision. And then if they want to, they can still kind of validate the AI's outputs.
Yeah, and document intelligence, it not only analyzes this document that is submitted, the artifacts, whatever the validation artifacts that they have, the claimant has provided, but it also cross matches against other claims, whether the same DL is being used in multiple claimants, or just by changing the photo IDs or the photographs or something like that. So that cross matching, which is a lot more difficult to identify manually, is something that we are providing through document intelligence. And also it compares against the system of records, like not only just the state agencies records, but also to the external databases, as I mentioned earlier, like the Social Security database and the DMV records and all those kind of things. So those are the kind of the value adds that we can really bring in here to using the document intelligence.
You folks have been in this space for so long, so I want to ask you, what excites you most about how fraud detection is evolving? Is it about the technology? Is it about the workflow? Is it about the outcome for agencies? Or is it about AI?
There are a lot of areas that where the innovation is going on, right? And we are in an age where the AI and LLMs and generative AI is really taking over the world, and that is where really the fraud solutions can also benefit. For example, like the generative AI, while it helps fraudsters to create synthetic IDs and fake documents, the same technology can help us or state agencies to identify those synthetic IDs, all right, and also process them using the LLMs and all. So that is definitely helping. And the other thing is like, for example, agentic AI can automate many of the steps, manual steps that today the state agency investigators do, and those can be automated quite a bit. And so essentially, I mean, the way I see is the world is going towards a combination of the partnerships between the human intelligence and advanced AI. And this is exactly what the fraud detection solutions also can leverage.
So, what excites me the most about AI and evolving fraud is moving from being reactive to like proactive. For years, agencies have had to kind of play catch up, spotting fraud, and it's already in the system. But I feel like with Gen AI, generative and agentic AI, we're able to kind of build tools that actually help agencies stay ahead, right? And that's the ultimate goal. We want investigators to focus on judgment calls and complex cases while AI handles repetitive heavy lifting, right? That's the future of fraud detection, smarter, faster, and more adaptive.
Can you also talk about how closely does Egen work with agencies? Is it more about, hey, here is our turnkey solution, you can use it as you please, or you get deeply involved, work closely with them in this ever evolving journey?
We definitely work very, very closely with the agencies and the investigators and the user community, right? Uh, Two reasons. One is because it is such an evolving landscape, we need to make sure that we collaborate with them very closely, identify them, identify the new patterns, and you know, we ourselves understand the data that is coming in. And second thing is uh, there is also the acceptability and adaptability of the tool, like basically how quickly the tool need to change and how well the users can use those the tools that are put in place. So those for both those things, we work very, very closely and collaborate with the users very closely.
The way I would kind of answer this is, think of these tools as like a recipe, right? And I would think of the customers as like a customer maybe at a restaurant, right? So all these things, we have to kind of customize the dish for that customer. Maybe they have different spice levels, and we have to kind of work with them closely to understand how their data is, right? So we would work closely with them, understand the data, customize the tools for their problem and business domain, understand what plugs in, what does not work with the tool, right? And that's similar to what how you would use a recipe, right? You would typically, when you're cooking on your own, you just use a recipe and you'd put the spices maybe according to your taste or flavor, right? That's how I would kind of look at these, tools for investigators. Egen works very closely with them, and we have a recipe with us. We want to kind of work closely with the agencies and kind of build out that dish with that, right?
Prasanna, Kartik, I really appreciate you breaking it down for us. It's quite obvious that fraud detection is not just about the tech, it's about giving investigator the capabilities they need to work faster and smarter. Thank you for sharing these insights, and I look forward to chatting with you again. Thank you. And to our audience, if you are dealing with similar challenges, check out Egen's fraud intelligence and document intelligence solutions. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode.